So I'll see you next week. Oh, actually, one more thing I think I want to take a look at is let's just take a look at these. Oops, wrong, I shared the wrong thing. We want to share this. Uh, this one? No, no. Let's see, let's share this one. PowerPoint, no. Oh, here it is. Okay, so let's just go back up here. Oh, it's right here. We'll go back over to the worksheets. So the lesson one worksheet, I didn't really look closely at it, but here's the questions, okay? The first question in the exercises is, do I have a good sound reasons for my beliefs? Okay, so for instance, okay, now I live in this little teeny room in Chinatown. Now I'm using the green screen so it looks like I have this great big house, which I will have because that's what part of my goal is, but it's not important to me. It's really not. I really don't care about that much about money. So I've been working on my self-esteem because why would someone live in a little place like this when they could live in a nice big house like you see behind me? Okay, well, the only reason, one of the reasons that happens is because of your own self-image. So sometime way back, and I'm going to get into this when I do my live, what do I call it, a live launch, where I'm going to spend 5 days teaching some concepts. I'll spend about 40 minutes a day. And we're going to talk about some key concepts. And one of the concepts is your self-image. Now, your self-image, as I talked about earlier, it comes from the inputs you get from as you're growing up, okay, and as you're going through life, the things you hear from your parents, your uncles, your aunts, your friends, your family. When you get to school, what you hear from the people at school. When you get to a job, what you hear from your coworkers. All of these kind of contribute towards our self-image. So if you're not creating an image for yourself, the image that you're going to end up with is the default image that you get from everybody else. So when you're answering the question, do I have good sound reasons for my beliefs? Generally, when you start to look at that, those reasons are going to fall apart because they have nothing to do with who you want to be and what you want to do. So that leads to question two: where did my beliefs come from? And they come from those places I just mentioned. The question number three is: would changing my beliefs improve my life? Of course it would, because if you're sitting there thinking, well, this is the best I can do, I'll use my housing situation as an example. You know, if I really believed that I could live in a luxury apartment, then why aren't I? Okay, it's because my self-image still has me down here at the bottom where I think this is all I deserve. Okay, and that isn't, and so that's how you change your beliefs. First, you come up with your worthy ideal, and then you just kind of reprogram yourself with those thoughts, and then that's going to change your vibration, and it's going to have you taking different actions than you would otherwise take. So as I've already explained, I'm actually quite comfortable living where I live. The rent's cheap. And as I continue to build my businesses and get money, I can be a philanthropist because that's what I want to, that's really what I want to do. Sometimes it just takes money, right? One thing that has me doing my live launch on February 2nd is that's the 41st anniversary, if you can believe that. It's been 41 years since I was in Oakland and someone shot me down. Okay, I spent a couple of weeks in the ICU. I survived, obviously. But way back then when I was 23, I guess I was 23 or 24, 23, way back then, that event shaped my self-image for my entire life up until about a year ago. So I just turned 64 a couple days ago. And so when I look back and I look at what my self-image says about me, that has a lot to do with the way I live and what I do. But one thing I did realize when I looked at that belief system of mine that says, well, why are you living in a shitty little room in Chinatown if you could live someplace else and if you've got plenty of money? Why would you do that? And the reason I do that is because there's no way you can bring this message to people that live in these kinds of places unless you live in these kinds of places. Because if I lived over there in Seacliff in a great big house, uh, no one's gonna, well, they may want to listen to me or they may want to come over and visit, but I'm not, there's nothing they can relate to. So as I live here in this little room, people can relate to that as I begin to expand uh, my ability to talk with people, which is something I don't generally do, right? I'm pretty quiet. I keep to myself. So in all those areas, I'm growing. So how do you change your beliefs? You impress your subconscious mind with new beliefs. It's just like a computer. Okay. And as you may or may not know, I'm a technologist, so I'm a programmer. I've been doing programming and web development and all kinds of things like that for the last 30 plus years, up until a year ago when I decided to retire and then start this business. So anyway, so that's the worksheet. Now, as you go further in the worksheet, there's a worthy ideal individual worksheet. And the question number one is, if someone were to stop you on the street and ask you, what is your goal? How would you respond? Do you have any goals? Are they written down? So that's where these goal cards come in. Oops. That's where these goal cards come into play. So you don't generally want to share what you write on your goal card because it's not kind of your personal thing. And believe me, people will laugh at you if you share that with them because their image of you is what your image is of you. So if you're changing your self-image, they haven't caught up yet. Okay, so here's what I wrote on my goal cards. I'm going to be selective here because I don't want to share too much about my personal situation. But one of the things on my goal card, how many do I have there? I have 5 goal cards. I carry them around in my pocket. I read them for 5 minutes to myself in the morning every day. Requires discipline, right? You gotta, no matter what you do, you gotta have some discipline around it. Okay, because there's some days where you're just not gonna be like this bright, shiny object, this bright, shiny personality. You're gonna have circumstances that come up. But as much as possible, you want to try to stay in that space of your imagination. Don't look at the circumstances that are going on around you. Look at your dream. Look at what's in your imagination. So my first goal card, okay, says, I am so happy and grateful now that I have thousands of people in my Develop Your Superpowers group and over 100 Thinking into Results activations paid in full. Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, that's a pretty good goal card. Okay. Another one is, I'm so happy and grateful now that I live in a great big house in San Francisco with a yard and surrounded by all the great friends I've developed relationships with over the years. I even have a puppy. Okay, both of those goal card statements that I carry around in my pocket and read to myself in the mirror for 5 minutes every day. Those are the things that are going to materialize in my life. And they're pretty inspiring. And no, I don't really know how I'm going to do that. I'm just changing the vibration that I'm in, and I'm taking the actions based on that new vibration. Okay, another one I wrote this as my goal throughout 2021. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have a loving partner who shares a home and life with me. Everybody wants that. Okay, but it has to do with what you're programming in your subconscious mind. If you're of the opinion that you're never going to have a loving partner who shares a home and life with me, if I never were to believe that, it's never going to happen. Okay, that's just the way it works. Okay, so I got my 4th goal card here, and it says, this is my business goal throughout 2021. It says, I am so happy and grateful now that I have at least 8 Thinking into Results activations per week. That means I'm bringing 8 new clients on per week. And that's a shitload of money, by the way. So if my goal of having a great big house, that's going to be fulfilled. My goal of having a loving partner that's going to share my life and live with me, that's going to fulfill that goal. And it's especially going to fulfill this last goal on my last goal card. And this is a more longer term goal. It's my goal for January 1st, 2022, so a year from now. I am so happy and grateful now that I have brought 16,000 people to Thinking into Results. Now, how in the world am I going to do that? That's the question, right? Or are you going to change your programming? You know what 16,000 thinking into results activations means for me financially? It means, I have a whiteboard over here. It means that's $68 million. Now, if you want to be a philanthropist and you have $68 million to spend and you're living in some shitty little room in Chinatown, you're going to be able to afford to do whatever you want. You're going to be able to help anybody you want. You're going to be able to do so many things that I think personally, you know, in my situation here in San Francisco, you run around and look at all the homeless people running around on the street, just sleeping on the street. I mean, how is that productive? That's not productive. And the rest of the people are scrimping and saving and trying to make it. It's ridiculous. You know, it's just we're so much more powerful than that. So anyway, going further with the worksheets, okay, and the second question, after what is your goal and do you have it written down? The second question is, type C goals are your wants, what you really want. So what do you really want? What is it that you would like very much to be, do, or have, even though you may feel it is, for one reason or another, somewhat beyond your reach at the present time? Allow yourself to relax and let your imagination wander. Fantasize. Create a shopping list of all your wants. Include personal wants and professional wants. As you are fantasizing, do not give one speck of mental energy to how this goal is going to be accomplished. Do not concern yourself with where the money, the time, the assistance you may require is going to come from. Attempting to think of how will either limit or destroy the fantasy. Just think of what. Think of what you want. So you write all those things down, okay? You get yourself a blank sheet of paper, spend about 40 minutes and just write your dreams down. Write your fantasies down. Write them all down. Write down as many as you can. Try to do 30. Try to write 30 things down on your list. And then once you've got those 30 things, you go to question number 3. It says, from each of these lists of wants, select one that you want more than anything. It is essential that you choose something special, something you personally feel very drawn to and is important to you. You must want it. You must really want it with your heart and soul. It is also important that the wants you choose are in harmony. They must not pull you in opposite directions. So part of that is going on with all of us, right? Like I mentioned, my experience 41 years ago being shot in Oakland, okay, being robbed and shot. Okay, well, that particular thing is not in harmony with my living in a great big house in San Francisco with a yard and a puppy, right? Those things are just not compatible. So I need to get it out of my subconscious that I deserve less than that. Okay, so although you can acknowledge these kinds of things, like I can acknowledge that 41 years ago something really shitty happened. But you know what? To have that follow you around for the rest of your life when something shitty happens to you when you're young, and we all have something, right? And if you're already young and you're already limiting yourself into what you think you can do, well, nothing's going to change until you apply some of these concepts. And looking at your brain as a computer, you're basically just going to reprogram it. And when you reprogram it, you're going to put yourself on a different different vibration. It's going to cause you to take different actions. It's going to attract to you the people, the things, the people and things that you need to reach your goal. I swear that's what's going to happen. Okay. So anyway, so once you got your lists, break it down to your personal wants and your professional wants. Okay. And then after you do that, you pick something. Pick one personal thing and one professional thing. Write that on your cards. So I mentioned I had those 5 cards and I just shared them with you. That's what you want to do, but you want to get it down to something clear. And then what happens, the card itself, when you read it and you feel it, that's how you're reprogramming your subconscious. And it really works. It's going to change your vibration. Think of it this way. Imagine that tomorrow morning you woke up and you went to put your pants on. Okay, and when you put your hand in your pants pocket, you found $50,000 in cash. Would that change the way that you do your day? Assuming that you're not already very wealthy, right? If you found $50,000 cash in your pants pocket when you woke up this morning, would that or would that not change the way you do your life? And I'm telling you, it would. It'll change your vibration. You'll be so excited. You'll be so happy. You'll be all those feelings. So that's really what you're doing. And regardless of whether you want to believe it or not believe it, it doesn't. It matters that you believe it, but it doesn't matter that it's already materialized. Because what's going to happen is those things are going to materialize in your life. The more you reprogram your subconscious, what goes on inside is what's going to materialize outside. So never ever pay attention to what's going on outside. Don't let that get into your subconscious because you are God's greatest form of creation and you can do anything you want. Okay? So that's the key right there. And then I think, oh, here's another question. So how do you feel after setting your personal and professional goals? You should probably feel pretty excited, right? Because when you're looking into your imagination at something that you want and you're assuming that it's already happened, you'll be very excited. It's like, for instance, pretend there's somebody that you haven't seen for a really long time and they're coming to visit you, and they're coming to visit you the day after tomorrow. So from now until the day after tomorrow, you're going to be excited. You're going to be cleaning up your house. You're going to be making sure you have some things ready to share with them. You want to have your best face, have your best face to show. It's just going to change everything about you because you're excited that this person that you haven't seen for a long time is coming to visit you. Okay, so it's the same thing with setting your personal and professional goals. Once you do that and you keep them going in your mind, it's going to change your entire vibration and amazing things are going to happen. Some call them miracles. Okay, then the last part, okay, because it isn't just about some wish that you're making or some dream that you're writing down. You also have to take action. Okay, and the action is going to come from your belief. So question number 7 says, in the space provided, write 6 action steps you can take right now to move towards your personal and professional goal. Okay, so I do have like 6 action steps that I work on every day. Actually, the list has gotten pretty long, so I probably have about 15 things that are on my list of things that I need to do. And every day I work on the first thing on the list until I can't go any further, the second thing on my list until I can't get any further, and I allocate as much time as I feel like I said, I'm retired. So I don't necessarily, I get up usually 6:30, something like that. And I may spend, 2 or 3 hours with my walk and my meditation and my affirmations and all those kinds of things. And then I may spend, I do kind of block off, well, I'm going to spend 90 minutes working on my list of things to do. And one day I may decide I'm going to spend 3 hours on that. It just depends, right? It's up to me. I can do it. I'm already financially in a great space. I don't really have to work. So I'm doing this because this is what I want to do, which is where you want to be in your life. You want to do what you love to do, whatever that is. Don't worry, you're going to be able to make money at it. You just love what you do and the rest will take care of itself. So you write down those 6 action steps and do the work. That's the only way it happens. So is that the last one? Yeah. And then the last one, the rest of this worksheet is talking about team worksheet. So you take these concepts and you can apply them to a team too. So it could be a family, as a matter of fact. You could, as a family, sit down and create a goal for the family. It could be, we want to go buy a house. So you all believe, well, we're going to go buy a house, and then it's going to change your vibration. You're going to attract things to you that's going to complement your goal. And the end result will be you reaching your goal. So let's see what else okay, so that's it for this week. These lessons are simple, yet very thought-provoking. The exercises are meaningful and when properly completed, extremely beneficial. Regardless of what our lives were like in the past, we can see that there are areas that we would all like to improve. So until next week, I'll see you later.